So the people want to hear from Djehuty Matra the real reason of how Alexyss, Miss Vagina Power, got sick. The truth of what really happened. Because you sapsuckers know that I knew. I knew, I knew. I was there from beginning almost to the end, but I was there from the beginning and I remember everything that happened. I didn't say anything because it really wasn't my place. And I mean, hell, man, there's free will. People get to do whatever people want to do. I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? And I know that as a grown man, I'm responsible for myself. So it's the same thing with other grown men and also grown women. I don't treat grown folks like children. And then I'm also knowing ain't nobody perfect, right? Ain't nobody perfect. And, people are going through shit. People got issues, man. So, I'm like, you let people do their thing and see if people can come out of it. Like my man O always say, Djehuty, just see how things play out. So I just sit back and just watch. I just watch. And when I know I have to make a move, I'm going to make a move. That's the businessman in me. So, I knew what was going on. I mean, the situation was deep. I'm not here to make a video to really get like deep. This is not like an expose of AKT. This is not that type of video. Although I could make that video, it wouldn't be a nice video. It would not be good for black people who believe in unity and who don't want to see, powerful blacks in the limelight going at it. That it wouldn't be a nice video because of who I am and my inability to hold back because I just don't give a fuck and I just let shit out, you know what I'm saying? And Mars and Gemini, so I kind of, I do that thing there, Tommy Hitman Hearn style. But this is not that type of video. I want to just deal with the whole sickness type thing because that means a lot to people. A lot of people are offended that she would attempt to point the finger at hers, which is so fucking stupid. Hers, like, you just blow the fuck up and your fucking face become like Rocky Dennis from the movie Mask, 1985, starring Cher and Eric Stoltz. It's like, yo, like, get the fuck out of here. But when you're emotional, imbalanced, and gotta find something or someone outside of yourself to blame, it don't matter. Even if it's nature. So, I mean, it is what it is, I'm not tripping on anything. I've actually been having a blast. We just got back from Cincinnati, just balling. The D Health Store crew, Kelly, Rona, and Rona threw down, man. Rona threw down, and so, I mean, it's just great how everything happened because, Rona is she's a Taurus, balanced, spiritual, motivational, intelligent, and we got a lot of compliments from people in the house yesterday after hearing Rona speak, So, the things that happened that ended the Vagina Power Tour, that gave birth to the Full Body Detox Tour was, was like a real blessing, and the people really enjoy what they're getting now. This is not to say they would not have enjoyed the Vagina Power Tour. Of course they would have, because Alexyss, she would have threw down, and I would have thrown down. So it would have been cool. It would have brought out certain people who like to hear the message a certain way. Now, I can go that way, but then I can also go another way, a more refined way. So, and we have my man Nazi in the house filming. So we had a great, great, great time. So I'm on top of the world. I'm back in California, feeling good. Life is beautiful. And I got to get back to DHS and keep it moving because we got a lot of stuff to do. But anyway, okay, I know y'all seeing Djehuty. Shut up, god damn it, and just get on with the account. But I have to respect what happened because everybody creates their own reality, their own destiny, their own karma. I became close with Alexyss shortly after my departure from my former business. Alexyss was one of the first people to call me and say, Djehuty, I support you because I know what it's like for people trying to steal your shit. And, you know, niggas are scandalous and yada, yada, yada. And we began to talk, you know, and it was kind of like about business, you know, and she was ordering herbs, man, like every month. You know, you can ask Ty, you can ask Corey, you know, you can ask my wife. I mean, you can ask everybody at D Health Store. It's like the child was ordering a full body detox like every month. And I'm just like, you know, what the fuck is going on? That's kind of, you know, that's abnormal. I don't really have people who order every month, you know, but it could have been for other people. I didn't know. I just thought that she was ordering a lot of full body detoxes. Alexyss had been on my herbs, man, you know, going back to when I was with the former company. You know, she had been taking the herbs for years, praised them, loved them, no problem whatsoever. And so we began to talk about like business, and we were talking about trademarks. And she had told me how, I don't know who this involves, but she had went to New York and she did something and they stole the footage. Now, of course, I heard another story, you know, dealing with the contract. And it was like, Alexyss don't know contract, she don't know business, and we didn't steal it. But, you know, I heard two stories. But anyway, from Alexyss, she says, them motherfuckers stole my video. And I went out to New York and I was just treated like shit. And Djehuty, I'm tired of people, you know, I'm tired of people robbing me and fucking me over. And, you know, and I'm just listening, you know, and this is new stuff, you know, for me. Because I'm really thinking Alexyss is balling. I'm going to just keep it. And I told her that. You know, I really thought Alexyss was balling. And I, you know, come to find out that wasn't the case. And so I was like, you know, Alexyss, you know, you got to get into trademark law and patent law. And, you know, you got to know some shit, you know. And I was going to send her some books, some extra books I had, you know, on law, like copyrights, patents, trademarks, what have you. And, you know, she made it clear, you know, Djehuty, I don't really have time for that. And I need a manager. I need somebody who would do it for me. And I was like, that's what gets black people in trouble. But, you know, I understood. I said, okay, she's a female, so she coming from that perspective and, you know, want that man on the scene that will protect her and all of that. And I understood that. And I understand the artist really doesn't want to take the time, you know, to know some shit. You know, that's why in Hollywood, these motherfuckers got producers, these motherfuckers got managers, these motherfuckers got spokespersons and lawyers. They don't do shit. And that's why most entertainers end up robbed, end up without having shit because all these bills go out. They used to other people doing shit for them until the money runs out. Then they got to do shit for themselves. They don't know what to do. And then they really fucked. So I said, okay, she's not, you know, the mental type to learn that law shit. Like a lot of people are not. This is not a diss, but that's just real. You know, a lot of people are not in the law because you got to really use your mind. You really do. And a lot of people don't want to or feel that they don't have the time to, you know, whatever. So, you know, we keep talking and, you know, I'm listening to her and I'm like, you know, this is a pretty deep sister here, man. Very intuitive, very psychic, you know. You know, some shit is kind of like off in left field because she talks sex a lot, you know, and so... And, you know, and I'm on the phone trying not to judge, you know, because I'm hearing everybody, you know, puts her down. Everybody thinks she's crazy. And, you know, the whole world is after her, you know. And I'm the new cat on the scene, so I just sit back and listen, even though my mind is like, that's a little, you know, but whatever. But, you know, in most cases, man, it was good stuff, man. And, you know, it was stuff I believed in. You know, a lot of it was around vagina power. And she had that, you know, pretty tight, you know, as far as theory. So some time go by because D Health Store is just blowing the fuck up. I mean, it's just blowing the fuck up big time. So I'm not really calling people like I used to when I had the time. So some time go by from Alexyss and myself talking. But in December, this is December of 2012. I called Alexyss on a Tuesday. What's up, sis? How you doing? I know it's been a minute. I'm just checking in. And she was like, oh, Djehuty, I'm so glad you called. Them white boys from Comedy Central, they want to fly me out to California, but Djehuty, I don't know. You know, they into that sexual ritual and shit. You know how them white boys do. I'm a black woman, and you know, Djehuty, I just don't know. And they don't want to pay for my transportation from my house to the airport, and it just ain't right. And so I said, Alexyss, don't go. Just don't do the shit then, you know. But Djehuty, it'd be good for my career. I said, well, do the shit then. But they don't want to pay for my transportation. They ain't treat me right to it. I'm a black woman. I ain't got nobody to protect me and help me, and people fuck me over, and them white boys trying to fuck me over, and you know, Djehuty, Djehuty, can you call them for me, Djehuty? I mean, can you be my manager? And I'm like, you know, I didn't really call for this, you know, I just called to check in on you, you know, but, you know, shit, you in the Jimmy Jam, I'm the Mod Ra, modern day Morpheus, the Oracle, so I say, okay, give me the number. Give me the number. So I call the dude, and I'm thinking I'm dealing with some perverts because, you know, from how she described them, right? And so I called the dude, you know, white cat, and he was cool as hell. You know, I was like, you know, dude, I don't think this is going to jump off, you know, because it was last minute. It was the last show of the season. It was last minute, and they had to do it. And I'm like, you know, man, let's do it down the line so she can prepare and get things straight, because she didn't really want to travel like that. She really didn't want to travel. It was last minute, and you know, she needed time to prepare. They said, we got to do it now or we don't do it at all. I mean, that's just it. You know, if we do it now or don't do it at all. So I was like, okay. And I called Alexyss back. I said, Alexyss, you got to do it now or you don't do it at all. What do you want to do? I don't know, Djehuty, what should I do? And I'm like, you know, Alexyss, it's your choice. They're not filming me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man. I logic, bloop, yes or no. I know what the fuck I'm going to do. That's just how, you know, men are fucking wired. Because, see, what a lot of people don't understand is that women use more of the right and left brain more so than men do. You see, you know, with women, you know, it's more like bam, right? It's more tantamount, you know, logic to emotion. But with men, you know, that shit is like this. We way more logical. So we see shit through and everything. You know, you gonna do this shit or not? No, I ain't doing this shit. Fuck it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this shit. You know, but women, it's difficult because logic and emotion fight. So logic says, yeah, do that shit. And emotion says no. Or emotion says, yeah, do that shit. And logic says no. So women, there's a lot of indecisiveness naturally with women. Naturally. Now, I didn't make this shit up. This is science that I just happen to agree with because I study people and I study women. And it's not a Libra thing, but you know, I study things and I know that men are more forthright with the decisions. Not saying that men don't get stuck, and not to say that there aren't women who can just bam say yes or no. But overall, in a general sense, you know, women, they have to think about certain things, and that's because of that whole logic emotion thing going on there. Again, I didn't make this shit up. It's just something that I tend to agree with, predicated upon experience and observation. You know, there's serious indecisiveness. So she says, okay, Djehuty, I'll do it, you know. She says, but what about the transportation and Djehuty, I mean, because, you know, I ain't got no money to get no cab and you know, go from my house to the airport. And I said, Alexyss, I said, okay, I'll take care of that. So I called the guy back from Comedy Central. And I said, okay, she'll do it, you know, but she's really concerned, you know, about, you know, how she's getting there, you know. They were willing to pay for the hotel and the airfare, but they weren't going to pay for the taxi cab, you know, and I thought that was pretty minor, you know. I really thought it was pretty minor because I'm like, you know, you can get to the airport. But then again, you know, my life had changed and, you know, money is nothing for me. So, you know, I realized that I couldn't speak for her. Like, okay, well, shit, it's really big. And the dude was like, look, guy, our budget is really tight. This is the best we can do. This is the best we can do. We can fly her out here and we can put her up in a hotel. And originally, they couldn't bring her hairstylist. Now I didn't know Alexyss had. I didn't know she had a hairstylist. I didn't know she was big into all that makeup and that hair and that weave shit. I didn't know that. And so originally they weren't going to pay for all that, and she wanted that. She's like, dude, I need my hair. My hairdresser got to come in and do my hair, my face, and my arms. And that was new for me. I didn't know any of that. So long story short, pertaining to this whole Tosh O Comedy Central thing, I called the dude back. I said, look, man, she got to have her hairdresser. She doesn't do it without the hairdresser and the makeup artist. It's not going to happen. So he's like, okay, look, we'll do that. I mean, this is really pressing us, but we can't do the transportation. I said, you know what, dude? I'll pay for the transportation. I'll make sure that her and the hairdresser from their respective states get from their home to the airport. And when they return from the airport to their home, I'll take care of that out of my pocket, all right? DHS will pay for that. He's like, man, you are a cool dude, man. And we worked everything out. And I called Alexyss back. And I said, Alexyss, you got a deal. Everything is worked out. I said, now they're gonna, you pay for your hotel. They're gonna pay for your airfare, and they're not gonna pay for the transportation. But I'm gonna take care of that, right? And so I'm thinking everything is cool. And it's like, Alexyss says, well, my hairdresser, Djehuty, he gay, he acting like a bitch, and he tripping. Now he don't want to come. I said, God damn. I said, okay. I said, give me his number. I called the dude. And I listened to him, and he's a cool dude, just like the cats from Comedy Central, Tosh O Productions. These are cool people, but, I'm listening to her, and I'm thinking like, damn, okay, this dude, he's bitch made. He's acting a fool. He acting like he on his goddamn period. And I call the dude is cool as hell, and he's like, look, Djehuty, I don't mind working with Alexyss and doing stuff, Djehuty, but I got a life, and I'm traveling to do this here, and, his whole thing was, people, he just needed to get paid, and the transportation thing was big. I said, look here, brother, I got you covered. I take care of it. And he was like, man, thank you, man. I mean, we connected just like that. He was a cool cat, man, cool cat. So I called Alexyss back. I said, okay, I got your hairdresser on board, okay? So they're going to fly him out, you're going to have your hairdresser, your makeup art, everything going to be copacetic. She still wasn't cool because it's like, well, Djehuty, I'm gonna be in California, I'm gonna be out there in Los Angeles by myself, and people be fucking with me, and them bitches from Queen of Ford camp and shit, and like Djehuty, I said, okay. I said, Alexyss, I said, the first thing I said was, I said, I'll send some of my guys, my D Health Store people out there to be with. I was gonna send Gump, Todd. Was it Gump, Todd, and Corey, I believe. I said, okay, I have my guys out there. And then I thought about it because of what she told me about the guy and the hairdresser. And I'm like, I shouldn't do that. That's going to be a waste of money. I'm like, I'm going to go out there. I said, that's it. So I called her back. I said, Alexyss, I think she came out that Thursday, I believe. But I couldn't see her because I went to Bakersfield, California to see my midwife. So I couldn't see her Thursday because I believe they flew her in Wednesday or Thursday. They may have flown her in that Thursday. I know for sure that I was in Bakersfield, California, visiting with my midwife because she has a case against her. The state of California is moving against her. And I had to go out there for some legal reasons. So I believe it was Friday the next day. That's when they were going to film. I remember going to this hotel. It was near Culver City. I don't know if it was Westchester, Culver City. It was near Culver City because that's where Tosh O Productions films Comedy Central. So I go to this hotel and I let Alexyss know that I'm there, and she says, Djehuty, you want to come up? And I have a personal policy. I don't go up to women's rooms. So I said, no, I'll meet you in the lobby. I stayed in the lobby. And Alexyss and her hairdresser came downstairs, and we hugged each other because that was the first time we met in person after all these months of talking on the phone. And Alexyss looked nice, man. She had a glow. She was petite. And I was greatly impressed with her. I said, for a woman that's 45, the way she looked, I was like, I was just really impressed. I'm like, you know, that's not bad for a 45-year-old black woman. And she said, Djehuty, you look like a boy. You know, you look just like a boy. Because I had my hair cut, you know, real short, what have you. And I said, I may look like a boy, but I am a man. You know, she's like, I know, I know. And the car pulled up from Tosh O Productions. So they came in and said, hey, you know, we're from Comedy Central. Are you Alexyss? And is this your hairdresser? And she said, yeah. And so they were taking Alexyss and the hairdresser to the car. And I had an apple. I went and bought an apple from the hotel. What do you call it? The cafeteria, what have you. It wasn't like a restaurant. It was like a little cafeteria type setup. And Alexyss said, Djehuty, can you get me an apple? And I went over there to get her an apple. And her car left, and I got in my car, and I went to the studio, which was in Culver City, California. And I get there, and I meet the production team of Comedy Central. And these are cool cats, you know. And it's like, okay, you guys go in this room here. And they had us in the room. It was a hairdresser, the makeup artist, hairdresser, Alexyss, and myself. And I'm in the room, and they give Alexyss some papers to fill out. And she was like stoked, man. And I was like, man, you know, because I give people the benefit of the doubt. And I'm looking, I'm like, she don't know what she filling out here. And I'm like, you know, sister, you know, you check this off here. And then it was like, well, Djehuty, what you know, bam, 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 bam. And I helped her fill out the form. And I was like, you know, I just kind of thought about the stuff about, you know, being robbed in business and people screw me over. And it's like, you know, it's just basic stuff, man. And I want to use this video to educate, man. It's not to bash or put down. It's real shit that you can learn from, especially for African Americans, because black people, you know, nowadays we more inclined to shake our booties. We're physical. We like entertainment. Okay, fuck it. And I'm an exception to the fucking rule. I'm fucking mental. I didn't study some shit. I didn't study the celebrities. I didn't study Sam Cooke and you know, and fucking what's her name? What's the girl name who got not Jodie Watley, but Toni Braxton. I didn't study Toni Braxton, TLC. I didn't study some motherfuckers who got robbed. So I'm like, fuck this basketball and all this shit black people do. I'm about to hit these motherfucking books because this Matrix ain't no motherfucking joke. Okay, it's one thing to be a celeb and people looking up to your ass, but behind closed door, these motherfuckers getting robbed. And they play a role in it because they just some dumb motherfuckers and they don't know shit and they don't want to know shit. And I'm around a lot of celebs. And I study these motherfuckers. I'm not going to be around nobody and not study them. I study these motherfucking celebs and I see and know why these motherfuckers get robbed. Not all of them, but most of them. So I'm in a room like, damn, you know, because Alexyss really does have celebrity fucking appeal, man. She really does have it, but she would be just like the rest. She don't have the knowledge of business. Now, she may watch the video, get all emotional on her, but this is some real shit. Because just because you ain't with Djehuty no more, don't mean your ass can't go far. It doesn't mean you can't do your shit. But you got to know something. Because I'm not on the scene to protect your ass no more. I ain't following no doctor. I ain't paying you. You on your own now. You know, it's going to be a little bit rough now, but you can make that shit happen if you believe in yourself. So this is some real talk, you know, and that folks really need to pay attention to. You can't be in Hollywood with the white folks and dumbed in a motherfucker because these motherfuckers in Hollywood, they're business minded. They fuck spirituality and love is business. And if they say you a dumb motherfucker, then, you know, they're going to do their thing. And I'm not mad at them. I'm not. Because my pops taught me that fools are put on planet Earth to be taken advantage of. And if you don't want to be taken advantage of, then don't be no motherfucking fool. Don't be no idiot. Put some knowledge in your head. So I learned something there. I said, okay, I'm seeing some things. She don't know contracts and she don't know that legal business aspect. She don't know that. And it was something that came up about her identity. I never knew her name was Tia Wilson. I think her name was Tia Wilson, and she told me she changed it to Alexyss. But she got ID for it. And I believe she wanted to get paid through her 501c3. She gets paid through her 501c3 account. So anyway, all that was worked out. The guys were cool, like, don't worry about it, what have you, just fill out this and leave the rest. We'll fill out the rest. And everything was cool. So it was time to go in the studio. to film Comedy Central. And they tried us. They came in there. One of the guys came in there and said, listen, we wrote the script and we feel it'd be funny if Alexyss, is in the, I think it was a gynecologist room. And her legs were supposed to be up, I believe in stirrups. And the dude, he's a comedian cat, is supposed to be holding a clipboard and supposed to be talking to her about vagina power. And so Alexyss was like, no, that's like condescending. I can't do that. I would feel compromised. And I saw right then and there that Alexyss got this thing where she wants Hollywood, she wants celebrityism, which is her right, because that Jackie Wilson blood, and I don't give a fuck what y'all say, that's Jackie Wilson's daughter. Fuck, you can see by her nose, it's in her blood. She's an entertainer, man. But she's unique because she's spiritual too. She got that spiritual thing. She got that intuitive thing, that psychic thing. So she's both worldly, if I can use that term, both fucking worlds, man. She got that shit, man, and it's rough, and she's kind of like somewhat like a leader to certain people, especially a lot of black women. A lot of them just happen to hate men. But anyway, but she's kind of seen like, a leader. And so, a certain shit she can do. Now, I think on a snake tip, she want to do that shit. But, you putting that spiritual righteous shit out there, there's certain shit you can't do. So it's a tug of war there. And I saw that, it's like, damn, it must be rough. I'm tooting motherfucking my raw. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to know why I do it, and let you know. But that's just me. But I saw that sister was struggling there, man. I was like, man, it must be rough, man. But they tried us, can we do that? And I was like, look, man, it ain't happening. She doesn't want to do it. All right. Come back in 5 minutes later. Listen, what if her legs are just slightly propped up, And I was like, look, man, she's not going to do it. And we're in a room, Alexyss and myself, and the makeup artist, and she says, Djehuty, should I do it? I'm like, Alexyss, this is your stuff. This ain't about me. It's your call, baby. What do you feel comfortable with? I said, Alexyss, don't do nothing you don't feel comfortable with. And I'm a little frustrated because, it's like a little girl mentality. I'm like, damn, you Alexyss fucking vagina power. You leading these motherfucking, like, baby, you like you a fucking little girl in here. You don't know what you want to do. And you gotta know what the fuck you want in this world, in this society. You gotta know. And she didn't know, tell her, should I do it? You do what you want to do. I'm not about to tell you, because I know people. You're not about to blame me if some shit go wrong. It's your choice. So she says, okay, Djehuty, I'm going to do it. I said, all right, you want me to go tell the dude? She's like, yeah, I'll do it. So I said, look, man, she ain't going to do, that whole stirrup thing with her legs up and looking into her vagina, but she will do it kind of like halfway propped up. So if you guys watch that Comedy Central video she got up, look how her legs are. Woman does not like that in the optometrist room, but her legs is like straight out because she didn't want them up. They're straight out. So it was like a compromise. And they was cool with it. And they did the skit, and I was able to watch Alexyss in person, and I'm telling the girl got it, and see, something clicked in my head when I saw that. I said, this motherfucking girl here, she got it. I was dealing with women, and I'm dealing with some women right now who got knowledge, and they're into herbs and essential oils and things, but they're timid, they're afraid to speak. You see, they're afraid to speak. Me, you give me a mic, I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? This is like YouTube, right? I'm on an Apple or Mac computer. I'm talking. I ain't got no problems talking. I don't really meet a lot of people like me. But Alexyss was unique. They said, take action. That's, they do their little thing, 3, 2, 1, take action. And the camera's rolling. And the girl was good, man. I mean, no script. They kind of told her what to say, but she could ad-lib some stuff. And she was good. She was really good. And those guys were impressed. And I could see that, And I was standing in the back, and I would see her after a break. She'd look around, where's Djehuty? And she would see me and just eyes light up, and she would, smile, feeling safe, because it was a room full of white people. And I'm just in the back observing everything, And the girl was really good, man. I mean, she was really good. And I'm like, I know she does vagina power and the spiritual stuff, but that desire she has to have her own talk show and to be in movies and stuff. I mean, it's really there. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's rough for her, but if it was me, I'd say fuck the people and I would do what makes my heart right. And I would do what brings money into me, especially if I got some fucking fans and supporters who only give me flattery through words. Hey, goddess, hey, we love you. And fuck that. You motherfuckers ain't paying no money. So if a deal came to me, I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to do what I want to do that's going to please my heart and put some money in my motherfucking pocket. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or but about it, especially if I'm struggling. And this sister been struggling too goddamn long with all these goddamn followers. How the fuck you gonna have 23,000 some people on YouTube and you broke than a motherfucker? You ain't got nothing to sell. That don't make sense to a cat like me, but I'm a Taurus. I'm in the money. I'm in the management. Leo on the 10th. That's just me, right? And so, I'm putting shit together because it's like, she has potential, man. Now she's claiming the wrong people came into her life, but I'm like, okay, she has the potential. She has the charm, she has the personality, she has the sex appeal. She got some shit going for her. Nobody can front on that right there. A lot of people do. Fuck that. The girl got some shit going for her. Right now, I ain't saying she's a fucking saint. I ain't, I'm not saying all this other stuff that, that just unfortunately happens to be true. But she got some stuff going for her that if she would ever work out them issues, man, and really develop the discipline that I'm talking about, that I've spoken about to her, she'd be a bad mama jamma, like the title of a song that came out many years ago. So, I mean, she was in the studio for a long time, They didn't pay her much, man. She only got paid like $600 something. And I thought that was peanuts. And I'm like, D Health Store, man, we blow this away right here. That talent? I'm like, that amount of money? That was peanuts, man. They paid that girl like $633 or something like that for. But see, the thing about it was she was there for like some hours, man. See, that's why I couldn't do the whole Hollywood thing. Well, I could do it, if it was Denzel Washington type of salary. You know what I'm saying? I could do it, but like what a lot of other people do, man, just to be seen, just to be on film, I couldn't do it. I mean, them hours are long, man. I couldn't do it for peanuts, man. And because they were there for hours, man. As a matter of fact, they were there so long, I left and went and got lunch at Real Foods Daily on La Cienega, 414 La Cienega in West Hollywood. And I came back and, I just stayed in my car until they were done. And when they were done, she called me and I pulled the car up and let her and the hairdresser get in. And we were headed. I was actually going to take them to get something to eat. I had eaten because I went to Real Foods Daily. And I said, you guys hungry? I'll take you wherever you guys want to go. And they said, no, they gave us a salad in the studio. And I never eat studio shit because it's just crap. When I was in there doing Comedy Central, and I've been on many sets, and they got M&M, Snickers, they got shit, junk food to help you to just get through. Shit that will fuck you up, but it's just to, help you get through. You compromise your health to give them what they want. It's like that in corporate America too. So they didn't want to eat, so I said, okay. I said, let's go to D Health Store. I'll take you to Djehuty's Health Store in Glendale. And they was like, cool. So, I'm behind the wheel, piloting, the automobile. And Alexyss says, Djehuty, now there's a little conversation, right? And then out of the blue, she says, Djehuty, do you put your hands on women's wombs and heal their womb? I'm behind the wheel, and I'm like, the fuck? And I looked at her, I said, no, sis, I don't do that. I used to do chakra balancing, but I don't do that. Now, when I did chakra balancing, I may put a crystal on a woman's vagina between her legs, because it's energy work. So you dropping crystal between the breasts and stuff. And, I do my shit quick because, it's a little awkward, but you put the crystal on the vagina area and on the side because you're building a grid, and you put crystals between their legs, what have you. But I don't take my hand. I never heard of that shit there. I never heard of it in the sense that somebody asked me, do I take my hands and put it on a woman's vagina and heal their ass? That ain't me, and that will never be me. Especially with, our sisters, because I just don't feel comfortable. And it's just not safe, you know. So I know a lot of dudes like, you's a punk motherfucker, nigga. Fuck that nigga. These hoes, what? That's you. All right, man. That's why you motherfuckers are unknown. I'm known. I'm doing my shit because I'm straight. Okay, I just studied Tupac, Mike Tyson, Kobe Bryant. Fuck that. I'm not getting caught up with no shit. That's why when Veronica tried to talk her shit, that shit died the fuck down because I am responsible for me. I am a truly sovereign individual. I ain't doing shit that's gonna cause me to lose this, lose my wife, lose my marriage, lose my family, lose my occupation, lose my businesses. Fuck that. Sorry, ain't no titties big enough to make me lose all of that. Ain't no pussy wide enough, good enough to make me lose all that. Fuck it, you don't stand a fucking chance. And that's why Plute 45 said her ass disappeared. Okay, because this motherfucker, well, I don't even want to get off into that. But anyway, I just don't do things like that. I said, no, sis, I don't do that, you know. And, you know, she was a little disappointed, you know. But I was like, damn, you know, I mean, the fuck, man, you vagina power. What the fuck you need a man to heal your... I mean, she asked me, do I put my hands on women's vaginas on their wombs to heal their wombs? I said, damn. I said, okay, I can do business with her, but I got to keep that shit from a, you know, keep it at a distance. I'm like Bette Midler, from a distance. That was a song Bette Midler dropped, I think 89 or 90, a cool song. But I'm like, you know, from a distance, I can work with her, but I can't be close with her and shit like that, you know, because, you know, a lot of times I'm around women, they'll pick up my energy. They'll say, you Merlin the magician, you a wizard. I went to Chicago back in 2006, and all the women like, you are Merlin reincarnated, you a wizard, you. And I know I'm a wizard, I know I'm an alchemist, what have you, but not the way they see me. It's in a way that I see myself, you know, and it's a way that I protect my knowledge. I protect it, and that's why I've been able to create all these products. And unlike so many people, I've been able to make millions of fucking dollars with this knowledge, man. You know, and I just don't meet a lot of people, you know, especially black people. You know, black people are gifted, man. I mean, there's a lot of sisters out there in Atlanta and Chicago and Seattle, and they're around, and then they got skills, man, but they don't have that business sense, man, and it's something missing. They can't blow it up, you know, like Karen Calabrese, you know, almost like Oprah Winfrey style. They're unable to do that. And so they struggle, they make products and they sell it. It's like they peddle, they go to little farmer markets, little flea markets, and I'm not knocking nobody who do that. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just something in me, man. I'm an ambitious cat, and I think big, man, and I'm fucking radical, and I'm crazy, you know, skillfully crazy, and you know, I just aim for big things, man, and you know, when you like that, and that comports with your natal chart, I have fortune, the part of fortune, in Aries in the 5th house. And when you read the definition of part of fortune in Aries in the 5th house, you got to watch who your fucking friends are, because you're very ambitious, you're very creative, and you got to have the freedom to create. Motherfuckers can't be questioning you. That's why I had to 86 those motherfuckers from West LA. I don't know, man. I had to 86 the motherfuckers, and you see what I'm doing now. You see what I'm doing now. That's part of fortune in Aries in the 5th house. And you got to find out what your part of fortune is, because your part of fortune lets you know what you're supposed to be doing on planet Earth in order to be successful. You see, I talk to a lot of people, and they don't know anything about astrology. And then it's like, well, Djehuty, how'd you do it? And it's not that I just read books and I'm smart, what have you. That shit is in my chart. I do me. I do me, and I don't apologize for him. So when people say he's egotistical, he's cocky, he's chauvinistic, fuck you. It comes off to you like that. I'm me. Okay, I'm a motherfucker with strong self-confidence. I got Mars and Gemini, which means I'll light fire to your ass with words. That's me, and I don't apologize for it, you know. But that's only if you come against me. That's me, and I ain't got no problems going there. I'm a Taurus, so, you know, if you put my back against the wall, these horns will come out, and I will charge your ass and stick your ass. I will do that. That's me. I'm a Scorpio rising, you know, so if you fuck with me, then I'm going to go and I'm going to willfully visit that unskillful side, and I'm going to stick your ass without killing myself. But I will stick your ass. I go through my whole chart, and I live it, and I do it. And I let you know. You know, man, you ain't afraid being a spiritual cat, man. People gonna think you wicked and evil. I wouldn't give a fuck what people think. It's what I know. Shit, I'm living this life. Fuck them. I don't care about people who ain't living like me. You know, these motherfuckers, you know, so spiritual, so sweet, so holy, and they broke in the motherfucker. That don't impress me. You know, they get violent to their ass in the matrix. That don't impress. That's like religious people. The Lord and Jesus Christ and the laws upon the what do Allah. And you can't use that shit to change your life, to solve your problems, to solve your issues. It don't impress me. I'm like Bruce Lee. I'm going to create some shit that works for me. That's going to allow me to adapt in order to win. That's me. That's why I buy with people like Muhammad Ali. I buy with people like Bruce Lee. I buy with people like Osho. But moving on. So we go to Djehut's health store. And I remember Corey was there. I think Todd was there. And Satori was in the labor department. And Satori saw her and got up and like hugged her. And I'm a fan of yours. And it was really like a celebrity, you know, coming through, you know, the response she got. And she goes in the front of the store and she looks around. Benoit balls and Yoni egg. And I'll never forget this brother and his wife and his two beautiful daughters came in. And they came way from Palm Springs, California to an event that was in Anaheim, Orange County, and drove all the way to the store. And they were just very appreciative of the knowledge of the store. You know, and it's beautiful, and we get that a lot. And Alexyss was there and just smiling, and she was rocking. And Alexyss was, her energy, something was going on with her energy. And Alexyss said this. And when she got in the car with me, she said, I saw that when we were traveling from Tosh Old Production Studio in Culver City to D Health Store, Alexyss closed her eyes. I had my music playing. You know, I always play like, you know, soft, mellow music unless I'm listening to conscious, you know, rap. You know, Public Enemy, MC Ren, Cam, Paris, T-Cash, what have you. And she just mellowed out, and I saw that. And I felt good because I knew something was going on with her. You know, a lot of tension. And you know, when I thought about it, I'm like, okay, you know, she really was stressed, and she really feels good now. She really feels safe now. Because things were getting better, you know, for her, you know, because of our partnership. And I saw that. I remember that. And I felt good seeing her just get in the car and just let go. She just closed her eyes and just went along for the ride. And she had like a little smile on her face. You know, and the hairdresser was in the back. He was cool. And it was just a cool ride to Glendale. So we did what we did in the store. And I said, let me get you guys to LAX. So we traveled to LAX because we wanted to beat the traffic. It was a Friday night. And we dropped Alexyss off first. Alexyss got the car. I got her luggage. And I gave her $100. I said, here's sis, you know, here's cab. You know, when you get to the airport, catch a cab straight to your house. Give me a call. As soon as you get in, I don't care what time it is, and let me know you got there. Let me know you safe and that you just got there straight. You need to do that. And don't forget. All right, Djehuty, I ain't going to forget. And we hugged. She gave me a tight hug. And I got back in the car and I took the hairdresser to his airline. And I gave him $100. I said, here you go, brother. Here's your cab fare, as promised. And I said, you know, you're a cool cat. He was like, thanks, Djehuty. Because, you know, me and the cat really clicked. He was a cool dude. And I said, you know, brother, you know, if you ever need anything, you know, just keep my number and just give me a call. You know, if you ever need help, brother, I'm here in California for you. Just give me a call, man. You're a cool cat, man. And, you know, it's just a breath of fresh air, man. Great conversation. Energy was cool. Everything, man. And, you know, so we did our thing. And then, you know, he went inside the airport, you know, to his airliner. And I came back home to Glendale to the family. And this was, I dropped them off around like 8 o'clock. And they had a late flight, like around like 11 or midnight, man. It was a red-eye flight for both of them. And Alexyss called me the next morning. Djehuty, I'm in. I said, good, sis. You know, that's beautiful to hear. Everything is straight. But it wasn't one of those calls where I could just get off the phone. Because all I wanted to know was, she okay? Did she get in straight? You know, was everything cool? You know, she's in. That's all I wanted, you know, from that conversation or that phone call. But it wasn't like, I'm Djehuty, I'm in, I'm okay, have a good day. Bam. No, it was like, Djehuty, something wrong with me. I said, what's wrong? She's like, Djehuty, that I'm not feeling good. I said, Alexyss, what happened? And she said, Djehuty, that air ride, Djehuty, I was on 3 planes. And she had like 3 layovers because, and the dude from Comedy Central, he told us, he like, the budget was short, so they used a cheap airline, U.S. Airways. And this is not to hate on U.S. Airways, but it's just a fact, man. It's just a fucking fact. All right, that's what I do. Okay, I can't help myself. It was U.S. Airways, and it was 3 layovers. And layovers are a bitch, man. But airliners do that to save money. But anyway, y'all already know that. She had 3 of them, right? It was a red eye flight and 3 layovers. I was like, damn. I said, damn, Lex. And she's like, Djehuty, the plane, it was shaking, Djehuty, and it was hitting my face. And she was just describing this plane ride, how the plane was shaking and shit. And I was like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, shit, she made it seem like she was on a fucking roller coaster at Magic Mountain at Disneyland or some shit, And the motherfucker was shaking and rattling, and so I was like, well, god damn, what type of motherfucking airplane were you on? But it whooped her behind, man, I said, Alexyss, just get some rest and just get acclimated. You back home, just get some rest. And because it was Saturday and I had some stuff to do. So she's like, okay, I'm going to get some rest and I'll call you later. So she called me Monday. It was Monday. And she's like, I'm doing better. I'm home. But I got this pain and my face, she was complaining about her face. Now see, this was the precursor to her face, swelling up. Now, we didn't know it back then, but, she my face, and all I know is that she did tell me that right after she got home. She told me that the airplane ride did something to her, and she specifically described what she was feeling in her face area. And little did we know that, I don't know. I guess let me just finish, telling the account, because I don't think that the plane ride was like the sole cause of what happened to her, but Alexyss got a lot of energetic shit going on, and that was the precursor. The energy was there, the energy was there, but everything energetically is going to manifest physically, and you're going to play a role in it manifesting physically. We see, stuff is already there, but we do things, our actions create the physical manifestation to get our attention to say, oh, some shit is wrong, we got some shit to do. That's how it works. So it was cool because she was home, so she's like, I'm feeling better, but I still got this going on with me, what have you. So she's at home. We would talk, and we was, at this time, we was talking about business, because I don't even want to get into, I just don't want to get into how she was living before DHS. I'm just going to say it was just horrible. And I felt sorry for her, and I didn't want to hear that. And I don't think any person, especially a woman, should, I'm not going to say should have to put themselves through that, but because you got to do what you got to do. But I don't like hearing that, and I just, there's too much creativity in her to sell out. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that. She's very creative, but when you're creative and you're not around other creative people, and those people are giving you money, they own your ass. You a slave, and you ain't gonna get no creativity out of that, and you in fear. And that's what the fuck she was in. I didn't like hearing that shit. Cause see, that go back to that wicked black man shit, man, where these motherfuckers are no good. But see, sisters, y'all be fucking with them though, man. You in fucking vagina pots that fuck this. I gotta keep this shit real. Fuck it, y'all know how I do. How the fuck you gonna be in vagina power and you fucking with niggas of the motherfucking world? So you ain't telling motherfuckers that. See, I tried to keep that shit like that, but the fucking truth is just too fucking powerful, man. I'm seriously, man. I really set out, man. But I just gotta talk to the fucking people. I don't like fucking hypocrisy. What you see is what you get. All right? I done told you motherfuckers I'm an OG, I'm a spiritual baller, I get gangster. I don't hide shit from you people. I just don't. If you come to Glendale, if you see me in Ohio or Dallas, what you see is what you get. This is me, Deuce 47. And that's why I'm successful in the public, because the way I am in the public, that's how I am in private. I'm like this in the public. See, so I'm at home, private, in the public. I'm the same goddamn person. That's part of my success. But how the fuck you gonna be talking about vagina power and be talking about we gotta stay away from men and shit like that, and you fucking with no good motherfuckers for money? Cause you don't know how to use your fucking creativity, cause you wanna play the victim. And you fucking no good dudes. That ain't no motherfucking vagina, but that's fucking hypocrisy, girl. You gotta get your shit together. I'm sorry that you gotta get exposed like this shit just came out. That's the spirit that made this shit come out here. You can't be fucking around with people, bro. You got a lot of women look up to your ass. And you fucking around. You fucking these no good motherfuckers for money. Fuck that. Fuck that, man. And that's why I felt good when you said Djehuty came on the board, because she said, you know, too, that I was gonna give up. I was gonna give up before you came. I didn't know what to do. Because she's living in Lithonia, Georgia, in the house of a motherfucker that's no good. Yeah, I mean, you see, Alexyss, baby, see, you did a Veronica move, baby. You fucking got hurt and you ran to social media. And you fucking with a motherfucking Taurus Scorpio. Y'all should know not to fuck with me, man. Y'all should know. God damn, man. Y'all should know. But I know the people enjoy this. Y'all like the truth. And a lot of people are taking notes to learn. That's fucked up, man. And that should hurt my heart, man. Because that's slavery, man. This girl got all this potential, but she has to prostitute herself in order to get money to make her products. We was going to do this shit right here. Y'all see this, people? This is what D Health Store was going to do for Alexyss. I don't know if y'all can see that. There's a label. This is her shit here. This is her black gold follicle stimulator. You know, we put a picture on it, and, you know, we was really going to help her out. You know, of course, you know, shit fell through. But in order to do stuff like this, man, because she ain't got no job, you know, motherfuckers was financing her and threatening to take the money if she don't do what the fuck they tell her to do. That's just the motherfucking God-honest motherfucking truth. I ain't got no reason to lie. I ain't got no reason to lie. I want to free people, man. But you can't be free, you know, prostituting yourself and selling the fuck out. You can't do that. That's why this video is coming out. That's why the expose is coming out now. Everything done in darkness will come to light. You're too creative, man. You got to trust in this. But if you play the little victim girl, you send that energy out, that's what you're going to attract. That's what you're going to attract. That ain't no vagina power. That's motherfucking hypocrisy. It's not vagina power. So anyway, we talking about business. So I'm like, damn, because I'm not about to give any motherfucker money. You got to earn your keep with me. Fuck that. I'm not a sugar daddy. You know, she's used to sugar daddies. I'm tired of these sugar daddies. Well, you play a role in that shit, you know? You know, these motherfuckers want something, you want something. And y'all motherfuckers made a deal. And you supposed to be spiritual. These motherfuckers low of the earth, and you fucking with them. But, you know, that's that lower chakra type shit. And saying that's why I knew, you know, I picked up the energy. Like when I was in the car, I'm like, you know, her tension was leaving and shit like that, man. That's what happened when you get with a powerful motherfucker and you get with a real man. I'm not trying to fuck you, girl. I'm trying to help your ass. I'm motherfucking married now. I'm motherfucking in love with my wife. I'm straight. I don't do that shit, that polygamy. That's polite in them. You know, he do it, and he do the shit well too, by the way. You know, but I don't do that shit there. I'm monogamous like a motherfucker. I'm a serial monogamous. But I'm trying to, you know, okay. Well, shit, what can we do? So, you know, it's like, okay, we go do the tour. We came up with the Vagina Power Tour. Now I was going on tour before Alexyss. That was my shit, right? But I'm a generous motherfucker, right? I'm generous. Well, fuck it, we do the shit together. And, you know, I play second fiddle, because fuck that, I don't need no shine, right? I get the motherfucker even though I don't want. I can't even walk down the fucking street no more. So we come up with Vagina Power Tour. And I said, I'll pay you $1,000 per lecture. Just give me 1 hour. And then we came up with advertising. I said, Alexyss, I said, we'll pay you $2,000 for advertising. When you just put the banners and annotate, I had my man George put the annotations and stuff on your there, and we'll pay you $500 a week, $2,000 a month. I mean, she was so happy and appreciative. And I also came up with the videos. I said, I'll pay you $100 per video. See, I had to get some in exchange because I'm not into taking care of females. See, that's how you become a motherfucking sugar daddy. I ain't no motherfucking sugar daddy. All right, nobody's sugar daddy. You got to earn your motherfucking keep, okay? It's like Veronica has. I put her under contract. And all my contract, my management company is called Honesty Management. It's honesty. And every fucking contract that I create and enter into with other people, it has a clause in it. And that clause says that any party can terminate the contract with 1 day's notice in written form. The reason why I do that is because, look, man, if your heart ain't in some shit, man, if you're not happy what you do, if you're not fucking, it ain't gonna come out right, man. It ain't. So when you hear about all these celebs in contracts for 5, 10, 15 years, and they not happy, and they know, they feel, and they know they being fucked over, man, they're not creative. It's gonna fuck with that creativity. Yes, it is. And I know that. But see, I can do that type of contract because, see, I don't need nobody that I'm in business with right now. I don't need no motherfuckers. See, so I have no fear, unlike these producers in the music field and the movie field. I ain't got no fear because I'm creative. I got millions flowing through from the products I've created. I'm about to do my whole information thing, the videos, DVDs. I got a studio. Djehuty got a studio, you in the music? No, I'm not in the music. I'm not into that shit, but I need a goddamn studio. I spend my money. I'm like this, people. I invest my money. I spend or invest my money in something that's going to give me a return. So I got a store opening up in 2 weeks. It's going to give me a return. Just like a store in Glendale. So I'm always spending my money in ways that's going to make me more money. That's just the type of black man I am. And I'm not saying I'm the only black man like that. I just feel it's sad that you got more cats like Jay-Z and Kanye West. I mean, goddamn rappers are beating so-called conscious people. And that's why I told Alexyss, I said, Alexyss, I mean, Beyonce's getting massage and fucking reflexology and pedicures and manicures, and she just shaking her ass. And I'm like, baby, you got all this knowledge, and you was sitting up this motherfucker and body aching and broken shit, man, and can't go to the gym, can't go. I said, what the fuck is up with this shit here, man? I ain't with that poor righteous teacher bullshit. I'm not with that. You right, Djehuty, you right, but my people, they don't support. And I told Alexyss, I said, you need to make them motherfuckers pay, period. Okay, these are black people. These motherfuckers are 95% consumers. That's what the fuck black people in America are. I'm sorry. They Christians and they motherfucking consumer. And they also Democrats too, most of them. But them motherfuckers are consumers. 95%. Them motherfuckers spend money. Alexyss, your followers, your fans, they spend money. Them motherfuckers buying donuts, hamburgers, big ass hula hoop earrings, motherfucking hair care products, shoes, Victoria's Secret, panties and bras. Them motherfuckers got money. They got money. Now, Alexyss had a little stint, where she was homeless. I didn't know that shit. And she went to the bank, and one of her fans worked in the bank. Now, this is what she's telling me. Now, you can't make this shit up. And she told me that she told the girl who was really into her that she needed a place to stay. And Alexyss was hurt because the lady who worked at the bank told her no. And said, girl, when are you going to start making money from these videos? And all this knowledge you kicking out. And I said, Lex, she wasn't wrong for saying it. She was really right. And that's sad that your follower had to tell you that. This came out of the conversation because shortly after the whole Comedy Central thing, we had a conversation, and Alexyss said, Djehuty, I was mad at you. I was mad at you, Djehuty. I said, why you mad at me? What did I do? She said, you helping all these other people and you ain't helping me. You work with everybody and you ain't giving me a chance. I said, well, we doing some shit now. She said, yeah, that's now, but back then you wasn't. I was mad at you. I said, Lex, I thought you was balling. She said, no, I wasn't balling, Djehuty. Shit, I was struggling. I was doing my cable show, what she call it, public access or some shit. She said, I was doing my cable show, Djehuty, and I only had $5, and I had to decide if I'm going to buy a hamburger or put gas in my car to go do a show. And see, I'm so far removed from that shit, I'm sorry, people, I'm just so far removed from that shit. And I was like, what the fuck? She's like, yeah, Djehuty, yeah. It was either I was going to eat or put gas in my car to go film a show on cable TV, the public asset, something. I said, man, it was like that? You doing all of this for these ungrateful motherfucking followers of yours? And they treat you like that? I said, man. I said, girl, you got to get your act together fast. I said, the girl working at the bank. I said, she told you some good stuff. You know. Lex was struggling. Mad at me. Hell, I didn't know. I said, shit, I never fucked with you. I've been knowing about Alexyss since 2006 when I first went to Atlanta. I'm like, Lex, shit, I've been knowing about you since 2006. You making videos. You got a video. You in front of the fireplace looking sexy and shit, raising your leg, drinking wine and shit. You fucking balling from what I'm seeing. That wasn't my place, Djehuty. Somebody let me use that place. I said, but you made a video on juicing you in this nice kitchen and shit like that, and that wasn't mine either. They let me use that. I said, girl, you know what? You do that shit well. You told me I'm faking it till I can make it. I'm trying to get where you are. And I was like, okay, well, now I know. So here it is, Vagina Power Tour. We got a contract for that. We got a contract for the video. We got a contract for the I mean, so I made it where it was, I would say it was minimal. It was minimal where it first began, where it first was, the contract that is, the money. You know, it would come to about, with the tour and all, every month she spoke, it would be about $3,000 minimum. And it depended on how many videos she was doing. Now, I had to curtail the videos because she was spitting them motherfuckers out. But she was fucking up. And so these sisters was emailing me like left and right. She fucking up. She talking about Epsom salt and Djehuty, you ain't into Epsom salt. I said, God damn. So I said, Alex, I would never tell you what to say, but you know, you got to get the fucking information right. And you talk about the holding up bag, and y'all get that Djehuty, that total cleanse, and that, you know, I'm like, Alex, you got to say the name of the product. And I got the emails on all this shit here. And she apologized. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna change this shit because these black bitches, they trying to fuck my shit up. And Alex, it's all good, baby. Just you know, you keep doing you. I ain't telling you what to say. Don't stop cursing. Do you? You know, but you know, you got to get the shit right, the products, because if people look for that shit, they ain't gonna be able to find it. And this shit is documented. As a matter of fact, what I'm telling you guys is documented. Just all this shit here, man. That I mean, you know, it's not that I'm going to do anything with it or what have you, and I ain't got nothing to prove, but I'm just saying, you know, this shit is all documented, man. You know, nobody has to sit back and make some shit up, man. Just keeping shit real, you know. You know, Alexyss, you know, you praise me, you know, and now all of a sudden I'm a viper, I'm a bad man, so people are like, what the fuck happened, you know? And that's your doing, baby. And I try to tell you black women, certain black women, I try to tell you motherfuckers, man, work on your fucking emotions, okay? Because you fuck around with a dude with me, I'm straight fucking logic. And I study women too, so I study emotions. I study spirituality. I study emotions. I study logic. I study so much shit. You can never defeat a man like me. I know a lot of you motherfuckers hate me, but you motherfuckers will never fucking defeat me. And look, even though you don't like this, I'm telling you this for your own fucking good. Your emotions gonna do your ass in. They're gonna do you in. Because every black guy ain't like me. And like Tariq Nasheed said, these sisters know who to fuck with. Now these these crazy gangster type motherfuckers who don't care about nothing, these sisters don't fuck with them. Because they know the mama get killed, the grandmama get killed, the uncle get killed, the house gets shot up. They know that shit. But a motherfucker like me got so much going for himself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in that category right there. You know, I got a wife, I got children. You know, I just can't get gangs and do shit that certain cats can do. But Tariq Nasheed broke down some real shit. Some real shit. You know, he's my boy. I love Tariq. So anyway, let me get back, you know, to where I was. So, you know, we talking business and shit like that, you know, and we move into January. Now in December, I paid her $1,000. I said my accountant's gonna pay you another $1,000 so you can be paid in the month of January. So we got the tour, you know, I'm hooking stuff up, radio, advertising, I'm hooking it up, man. Thousands of dollars, man. You know, Atlanta, you know, W Hotel, you know, V103, $5,000, you know, the hotel, 3,000. I mean, just, Djehuty, ain't nobody ever gave me a chance. And I'm like, it's all good and everything, you know. It's all good. You know, you did a lot of shit, you know, and it's coming around, just happened to come through me. And bam, here you go. You know, shit, you know, D Health Stores is balling like a motherfucker. It ain't no thing on the boom, 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 boom. Let's do this shit here, right? We want to reach the people. You got a message for these little inner city females. I mean, it's for all females, but it's really for these inner city sisters. And see, and that's who the hell I've always wanted to reach is our people in the hood, because that's where I'm from. And there's good people there. But, you know, a lot of our people kick the knowledge. They don't speak the language. I speak the language. Alexyss speaks the language. That's why, you know, I invested in the tour, because of the message, the language of the message. And I still believe in that message. I still believe in it. It needs to be heard, man. It needs to. It's raw. But these little sisters can relate to Alexyss. Alexyss kicked down a lot of fucking truth, man. She do. I mean, she really do. And a lot of that shit is projection. She talking about herself, you know. A lot of shit is projection, but it don't matter. It's real shit. Because Alexyss is telling these girls about the shit that, you know, they're going through, predicated upon the shit that she already went through. And that's why they can relate. And she right. These black women are getting fucked in their ass. They nutting all in the fucking throat, and then niggas nutting on their titties, nutting in their ass, nutting in their vaginas, and all types of shit. And that's real shit. And I know people don't want to talk about it, but it's real shit that goes on. And she talked about women with the dark crack of the ass and the dark vagina. That's some real shit. She hit me to that. That's why I got the skin lightening cream. So I had to get the natural stuff, because she got it. But, you know, she not really like a researcher. So she was fucking using the kojic acid. You know what I'm saying? And that's how y'all know I'm not like making shit up, because if you look at her ingredients, you know, she's on that kojic acid, you know, and she was on some other stuff. And I'm like, you know, Lex, I can't manufacture that for you, because I was going to manufacture some products for her. I don't fuck with the chemicals, you see. So I got the skin light. You go to dhealthstore.com right now. You see the lightening cream, you see the skin lightening cream, and you see the skin discoloration cream. And that shit is all natural. And see, the thing about, let me explain this right quick. The thing about the skin discoloration cream and the skin lightening cream, the bakuchi and the kiwi seed, in nature, they get the job done. Right? You know, they work with the pigmentation, they work with the melanin, and, you know, if there's discoloration, if you use them over time, right, externally and internally, at least pertaining to the bakuchi, what will happen is it will bring back the natural color. It will restore the, you know, the pigmentation, but then it stops. So when the pigmentation is reached that matches the pigmentation throughout the whole body, it stops. It stops. Because, and see, a lot of people, you know, Alexyss called hell for this. People thought Alexyss was promoting make your skin white, and she wasn't doing that. Alexyss was dealing with uneven skin tone, and that shit is big amongst African Americans, man. And see, and that's why, and see, Alexyss, if you get your shit together, you could corner the fucking market. See, like a lot of black people got great ideas, but they don't have the business knowledge. And so Alexyss and I was talking about how the Koreans dominate the black hair market, which is fucking pathetic, but very true. I mean, black people are really fucking pathetic in a lot of fucking areas, man, when you think about it, man. Like, you know, it's the hood. We reside in the hood. That's where we're at. And we don't own the shit, man, right? You got all these black women with extensions and weaves and shit, man. And I'm not even hating on the Asians or the Koreans, because they doing what we allow them to do. But, you know, I'm talking to Alexyss, and I'm like, she's like, Djehuty, they make so much fucking money off of us, and I'm like, you fucking Madam CJ Walker. You got hair care shit. I got hair care shit. You know, so we was putting this shit together to, like, you know, create the products, the natural products, and then target the hood. See? But an issue I have with Alexyss, which is an issue I have with a lot of people, is people don't understand how I do business. I'm like, Alexyss, okay, this shit here, all them high fucking prices you talking, fuck that. You gotta do it Djehuty's way. Okay, people talking about Djehuty, he's a Taurus and he gotta be his way. You a fucking ain't right, because my way fucking works, right? Who channel the fuck you on, huh? You ain't got no motherfucking multi-million-dollar business. My motherfucking way works. So you shouldn't give a hoot who the fuck the person is. Does the shit work? So fuck you. Them high fucking prices, black people are not gonna buy high price shit. Okay? Unless it's, you know, some bullshit or something that they feel that they need, what have you. But you come in with a natural product, they don't know about no natural. They know about the shit they're using. That other shit is $3, $4, $5. You come in with this shit 40, 50, 60, 70 something motherfucking dollars. That's too much for them. You know, and I know what ingredients cost, but you're gonna have to come up with something and make that shit cheap. So if they got some commercial shit that's $7, you gotta make some natural shit that's $6 or $7 to match it. Period. The law of inverse proportion. And I know a lot of black people don't understand that, but it's real. Less is more and more is less. Them dumb motherfuckers in West LA blown the fuck away. How is Djehuty balling like that? I mean, I know people. I know what time it is. I know the economy. I know what I'm doing. I ain't hurting. I'm opening stores and studios and shit. My money is coming in. I understand economics. I understand business. I understand, you know, corporate law. I understand shit, man. I study. I'm not going to be in something and then don't know about it. Then got to hire some outsider. No. Like they say, he that can do it for you can do it to you. No, I don't need attorneys and you know, and spokespeople. I do it all myself. Keep the money in my pocket. So we kind of bumped heads there, Djehuty. This stuff costs. All right, you're going to be a broke motherfucker. I'm trying to tell you about your people. If it's some bullshit, we're gonna buy that shit. You ain't got to think twice, say anything. They going to buy that shit. They know to buy that shit. And they got money. Usually for bullshit. But something good? Nah, you know, I gotta talk to my doctor before I consume this. See, before I can use this, I gotta call, you know, my loctician to make sure I can use this shit here. So it's a good product, and I'm gonna get back with you. But if it's some bullshit sold in some, you know, corner hair market, that motherfucker, let me get 7 of those. They buy that shit just like that. You know, like everybody just ain't understanding, and to each his own. And that's one of the beautiful things about doing business on your own. So even if business deals don't work, I'm still doing me. And my shit is working. And I'm happy. You know, I sell superior products at an economical price, man. And you can't beat that, you know. And I got that, man, from Frank Lucas, American Gangster, man. I mean, this dude took heroin and sold it damn near pure, man, and flooded the market, man. I mean, the best for less. Why can't I do that with hers? You know, why can't somebody do that with hair care products? Because they get stuck and they think about, like my former partner, well, no, man, we spent a lot of money for the base ingredients. You might have to find a way to get over that. If you don't, then you're going to always be wondering, how in the fuck is Djehuty making all that money? Period. You're just going to be scratching your head, trying to break in accounts and trying to do all type of crazy shit because you don't understand. So again, Lex and I bumped heads, you know, and that just kind of got, you know, slowed down. So anyway, moving forward, right? Alexyss started getting this money here in January of 2013. Now, she still got these health problems, but something would happen on a Saturday, and I believe it was July. I believe it was July because I was in the Bay Area in December. I think this was July. It was a Saturday. I was at the movie. I was watching Texas Chainsaw with my 2 eldest children at the Rave Cinemas near Crenshaw, Martin Luther King here in LA. And Alexyss calls me on the cell phone. Djehuty! I'm like, what? What? I'm in the movies. Like, what's going on? I need to talk to you. I said, okay, let me call. When the movie's done, I'm gonna call you. All right? All right. Just hang in there. Right? Okay. Click. I hang up. I watched the movie, which was hilarious, by the way. Well, Hollywood is a trip. But anyway, it's just little shit I'm doing, And I was like that, when I was a teen. I used to like to watch Halloween, Amityville Horror, what have you. So anyway, the movie is off because I'm like, damn, I'm hoping she okay. So, I tell my children, you guys go to the car, and I called on the cell phone, and I said, what's up? I'm bleeding, Tootie, and I can't stop bleeding. I've been bleeding for like days, Tootie, and it ain't stopping. And I'm like, damn. I said, okay, she's hemorrhaging. I'm like, this shit is serious, because a lot of blood. I'm like, damn. And then for days, too. And it wasn't her cycle. So I said, this shit is serious here. So I said, Lex, I said, I got to send you some stuff. I got to send you some styptic formula, some ionic iron, some herbal iron, some blackstrap molasses. It was stuff that was going to put the iron back in and arrest the profuse bleeding. So I said, look, let me call you back because it was a Saturday. And I said, Tyler's working and we shut down and I got to express mail this to you and I got to get it in, before a certain time in order for you to get it on Monday. So I hung up with Lex and I called Todd. I said, Todd, I need you to put this order together for me for Alexyss and we're going to send it out to Georgia. And Todd did it. I said, go in the money, get some safe. I said, go in the safe and get some money. It was like $78 or $80. And I said, take it down to the, there's a mailbox, etc. One of those little places. I think it's a mailbox, etc. So I said, Todd, I said, get some money out the safe and take this order over to FedEx and FedEx it to Alexyss today. You got to do it today. He said, all right, Djehuty. Sure enough, Todd go in there, boom, 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 get the money. He fill out the form. He packaged everything up, and he runs down to the mailbox, etc. And he gets it in there, and he texts me back. He says, Djehuty, it's done. I'll call Alexyss back. I said, Alexyss, we got you covered. She's asking, for help. I deal with her. That's all I deal with. So she didn't get it Monday. She got it Tuesday. And she called me. And she said, thank you, Djehuty. I'm taking the styptic. I think we sent her some moon cycle. We sent her some herbal iron, some ionic iron, some blackstrap molasses. And she took it and she says, it's getting a little better. Later on that evening, she called me. She says, it's getting better. And by the next day, she noted significant change from the fucking herbs that she now condemned, which is some hypocritical bullshit. But it's understandable because they ain't paying her ass no more, right? Which is cool, which is understandable. So in the week, later on in the week, it stops. It was like Thursday, Friday, it stops. She said something to me that I'll never forget. She said, Djehuty, this blackstrap molasses is good. Can I eat this? I said, yeah, but you're supposed to be taking on a teaspoon for the iron. When the bleeding stopped, when the herbs made her bleeding stop, she started consuming the blackstrap molasses with biscuits. But I ain't hired her for that. She's not vegan. She's not raw food. Okay, I'm not. But I'm like, you supposed to be saving that shit so when your cycle comes, you can take it. Because that's what I explained to her. But a light bulb just went on. I'm like, okay, she liked this shit here. She about to get her grub on. I knew that. It was coming. And she's getting this $500 every Friday, right? Anusha's sending this money every Friday. She's still going through stuff. She talking about her face is something wrong with my face. My face getting a little puffy, and her body parts, and she noticed like the weight. She would just kind of mention it. Wasn't a big deal then. We're still in January. We're talking about the tour. We're still having like conversations. We're talking about the tour and things. Late January, more issues. I mean, man, the shit is so deep, man. I was going to Veggie Grill. I would call her a lot on the cell phone, just put it down because it's against the law to be on the cell phone in California. And the root, now this is what I feel the root, and I expressed this to her too. Now this is what I feel is the root of the problem. This shit is like emotionally, it's emotional trauma, spiritual trauma, mental, psychological, etheric trauma. And it got to do with her mother. And I hope the spirit don't Make me put some shit out like I did earlier. You know, which was really not my intention. But that shit is deep. And I'm on the phone with her, and it just reminded me of back in the day with my mother and aunties. And you know how women just cry and they get depressed, and shit from 40 fucking years ago come out, man, and the shit the mama done did, and something happened in that child's life. And you know, I really on the souls of my parents, man, Ernest and Bonnie. I hope I never have to talk about what she witnessed as a little girl. And maybe because of this video, maybe Alexyss will, you know, reveal a lot of shit. You know, if she's afraid I'm gonna reveal this shit here, you know, maybe Alexyss should go and reveal the shit she told me, you know, and just free herself. Yeah, I mean, it's some deep shit, it's some horrible shit, it's some sad shit, man. And it got her fucked up to this day. She got potential, but she let certain hang-ups get in her way. And man, this particular day, man, you know, the culprits, the victims of her health problem in her life was her mother and her grandmother, Christian women, man. You know, her mom's is a minister. And I mean, you guys know the story about the Christian mother and growing up as a child of a minister, man. Man, this was a Friday, and all I remember is that my motherfucking head, I felt like I got shot in the head. My motherfucking head was boom, 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 boom. I had a headache out of this motherfucking world. And I was like, I don't know if I can talk to her again. I was toe up. I don't like headaches, you know, but Aries in the 6th house, you know. But you know, I got over the headache, and then Sunday or Monday we spoke, what have you. And if she was gonna go there, I was just gonna hang up the phone. Fuck it, I couldn't deal. You know, I just couldn't deal if she was gonna go there. But you know, there's depression there, and there's just a lot of shit. And she needs someone that she trusts, that she can talk to, but more importantly, somebody that can help her. You know, I really feel Queen of Four is that woman. Perhaps Jewel Pookrum, but she got beef with them, man. I mean, she got beef with a lot of people. I don't know. I haven't done her chart, what have you, but I think Queen of Four, maybe even Jewel Pookrum, because they deal with the metaphysics, and you know, they're two of our deepest healers in the black community, so-called black, so-called African American community. I feel that you know, Queen of Four could get somewhere, you know, with her, but you know, she believes Queen of Four is out to get her, and I mean, it's just some crazy shit, man. There's some crazy shit with the black community, and I don't know if a lot of stuff is true, but you know, according to Alexyss, there's a lot of scandalous sex stuff and wife swapping and just a whole bunch of crazy. It's a lot of, so when you talk to us, a lot of sex. You know, yeah, I'm a Taurus. I'm a Taurus Scorpio. So y'all motherfuckers know I love sex, but you know, you fuck around, be on the phone with Alexyss, you're gonna be fucked up, because you know, Alexyss and I had a streak. We was gonna make all these products. You know, in Djehuty, we're gonna have pussy creams and dick creams and booty cream for the people get fucked in their ass, and you know, and I was like, shit. I said, she creative, but it's like, shit, this shit is, you know, left fucking field. Then she would like email me, and Djehuty, we need to get some crystals and have crystals so people can stick in their ass and heal their ass when they get fucked in the ass. And women can stick the crystal, the wand in their pussies and heal the pussy, and you know, and it's just like, it was just, I was like, maybe she was a sex goddess or some shit in the past life, because it was a lot of dick, pussy, booty holes. That shit is her nature. That shit just flows. And I know I'm doing my best to lead up to how she got sick. You know, certain shit just came out, was supposed to come out. There are no accidents. There are no accidents. And trust me, that little one thing came out, you know, is just like a little small, you know, part of certain things that I wouldn't want to come out, you know, because it's, you know, like, I mean, everybody did their shit, but, you know, people got to be comfortable telling their people about their shit, the shit they did in the past, you know, and in the public. It's one thing to be on the phone saying some shit, but to go public and to put some shit out, people gonna judge your ass. I'm sorry, people just gonna judge your ass. That's just how it is, and you got to be a bold motherfucker put your past out there like that. And I really thought I had it bad growing up. Fuck that, little poverty in South Central wasn't shit. Moms and pops scrapping every Thursday wasn't shit compared to what a lot of motherfuckers went through. Let me tell you, a lot of black women went through some shit, you see. And I gotta say this, now, Lex and her people, they kind of anti-man. And they're really not anti-man, they just hurt. And it's a legitimate hurt. And I gotta say this, I gotta speak to black men now. It ain't just fucking black women, man. It's fucking black men who fucking violate these women, man. And the problem a lot of black men make is they'll see a black woman, because we have a lot of attractive black women in the hood, right? And just in general. And, they may not really be all there mentally, what have you, and they got emotional baggage and shit, but here's the fact. The fact is they some fine motherfuckers, nice titties, hips, ass, and black men are fucking men, so, the dick get hard and these dudes want to fuck. Now, they know these sisters are fucked up with emotional problems, spiritual problems, mental problems, but see, these motherfuckers ain't got no integrity. They'll still fuck the injured black woman. I understand the attraction, but what the fuck is your heart, man? You gonna fuck her up even worse. You fuck them, you lie to them, you lie to them to get them. You know damn well you don't want her as a girlfriend, as a motherfucking mother of your child, wife, and you lie to them just to get the pussy. Then you get it and you bounce, man, and you lie to these women, and these black women are looking for marriage and union and shit and to be loved, and they want fucking love, man. And I know they don't work on themselves, but they got every right to want that shit, man. I mean, the little girl come out the womb wanting that shit from her daddy, man. That's some natural shit. And we didn't let that shit go in the black community. We let that shit go. And we're paying a price for it. I can look at those of us who grew up in homes with mothers and fathers, in loving homes, with mothers and fathers who led by example. Then I can look at those of us who grew up in one-parent homes, single-parent headed households. And how the girls fucked up, the sons fucked up, gangbangers, drug dealers, prostitutes, swinging on poles and shit. I see that shit, man. And we were better off, man, with the whole marriage family type shit. I know we into the polygamy shit because, we want to fuck. A lot of dudes we want a lot of pussy, and we don't want the responsibility, and we want to be like how we are in Africa, right? You know what I'm saying? We want the best of both fucking worlds. We want the polygamy part of Africa, ancient culture, but we don't want other things that's part of the African culture. You know what I'm saying? And, y'all know I'll be battling motherfuckers on that because, I can see through some shit. But, to each his own. You got a lot of women who cool with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I be proposition on that shit. Fuck you. I know I got money, but fuck you. No. I ain't got time for that shit. I wouldn't be creating too much fucking drama. I wouldn't be creating. Hell no, man. But anyway, it's an effed up situation. Because y'all know these sisters are fucked up and you will still fuck. You have no fucking integrity, man. See, integrity plays a part of your motherfucking success. See? And I got too many homeboys, and I've studied too many people who just, they had it and they let it go for some pussy, and it just ain't worth it, man. Especially if you got a wife. If your wife is putting out, what the fuck is your problem, man? You just gonna take the pussy because it's there? That pussy come with a price, man. Please. And so that's why these sisters be getting pregnant and they don't want these motherfucking babies. They'll use the baby to keep your ass, or they use the baby against your ass to keep you or go against your ass. And then you got sisters out there who actually have the baby because the baby is going to be the first human being that loves them unconditionally. Unlike the mama, unlike the daddy, unlike the baby's daddy, unlike the boyfriends. The baby gonna love, the mama could be the biggest motherfucking hoe, was in porn, movies, all type of shit. Baby don't give a shit. The baby gonna love the mother. So a lot of these girls will keep that baby because it's a real life baby doll. And that baby will love them, and then they got something to love themselves. So that's why, these sisters will actually have these babies. They really not primed, they're not ready for it, but they'll do it for various reasons. See, and then the baby start looking like the father, and then that anger hit their ass. They a single mother, they are a statistic now. And next thing you know, they in motherfucking child support court. Then you calling me, fuck you, I don't help with child support no motherfucking more. You created child support by being irresponsible with your black dick. Sorry I gotta kick it like this, you know, but I'm talking to my peeps, and this is how we talk. This is what's going on. I know a lot of people like to hear, but fuck you is what goes on, and I'm gonna fucking kick the truth about this shit here. And unlike Alexyss and a lot of other motherfuckers, I live my shit, and bring your ass to California and test me out if you think I'm faking the motherfucking funk. I live this shit here. That's why I speak the way I speak. I live it. I got the results. I know me. I'm not afraid. Put the fucking camera on me. I live this shit. If you ever see me coming out of a fast food joint, you can best believe I want that motherfucker to use the restroom. I don't eat no motherfucking animals. I don't drink no fucking liquor. I don't smoke no cigarettes. I don't smoke no motherfucking cigars. Fuck these worldly vices, man. I got willpower. I'm not fucking my mind up. I need my mind to navigate this matrix. I'm not going to make it easy for the imps of the rulers. No. This is my genie. So I'm from South Central. I didn't go to no goddamn college. I came up in poverty. I came up among fucking gangbangers. I came up when the CIA dropped off or dumped off crack cocaine in the hood. I came through all that shit. And I'm still doing me because I got into these books. I didn't have money or brains to go to college, but I had sense enough to buy some goddamn books. Same books they use in college, I can go to a bookstore and buy. But better yet, I can go to the local bookstore and go to the social studies section, go to the philosophy section, go to all type of various sections and get some real shit that you don't get in college. That's what I did. No excuses. I can't let the black skin be an excuse. Can't do it. Can't do it. So, moving forward, we in late July, we got the Vagina Power Tour scheduled and ready to go. And this girl making money now. She's staying in the house. She got her grandmother going to purchase her food. And I'm noticing with every phone call, she talking about she gaining weight. Now, I didn't see her. Then she makes a video for D-Health Store that she was paid for. She was paid for everything. You know, to say that D-Health Store used her is fucking crazy because she got paid for everything. And we got the fucking receipts for that shit. But, you know, she's a hurt woman. You know how women, when they hurt, what they do. They don't think. They just all emotions. Emotions get you fucked up in this world, but this is a world of logic. So I'm just hearing about all this weight gain. Then I see this video, and she puffy in the face. I'm like, no, what the fuck is going on here? So what the fuck is this? Alexa, baby, you putting on weight. And I'm having a conversation with her one night, and she just opens up. And she's like, yeah, I'm putting on weight. She you know, she chuckles and, you know, yeah, I'm eating good, and I'm eating, you know, ham, and I'm eating and biscuits and molasses is good, and this motherfucker she's comfortable now, so the shit just flowing. I said, okay, all right, so that's what the fuck you doing with your money here, okay? Now I can't tell a grown woman what to do with the fuck, you know, I can't tell her what to do with her money. But I'm like, you know, okay, so that's how you gonna spend your money there. You know, emotional eating. She makes another video. I'm like, no, damn, okay. Now I'm seeing this shit progress. She ain't detoxing, she ain't on the herbs, none of that shit, because the herbs stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding, so she took the black stripe molasses that she's supposed to take during the menstrual cycle to put the iron back in the blood, because when women have that menstrual cycle, they lose blood. This motherfucker eating fucking syrup and biscuits, man. Fucking Southern style. And stuffing her fucking face. Got her grandmother going to the market buying shit. So I look at her face, and I'm like, man, I remember going to Veggie Grill during the week, and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, I'm dealing with the root of it. I said, Alexyss, your face is swelling because metaphysically, there's some shit in your life that you're not facing. So your face is acting a fool to get your attention. See? And she like, that's true. I accept that. That's real. But there was no work. See? And by this time, I'm distancing myself because, you know, she wants that master healer, that man to heal her ass. And I'm like, Lexus, this is what you got to do. Just what you got to do. You ain't facing some shit. And I'm not trying to beat it to fake because it's some ugly shit. And it's dealing with your people, your family. And you got to face it. Well, why am I putting on weight? I said, Alexyss, you getting large because you living large. You got money now. You living large. So you getting large because you taking your money and you're stuffing your face and you're getting large. And she knew it. See, I tell people what they already know. That's what I do. So she getting worried. So we into February. So, you know, and the weight is just coming, man. You know, you seen the videos and shit. I'm like, damn, I looked at one video. I said, God damn, girl, you look like motherfucking Rocky Dennis from MASH. Your motherfucking face and swole like a goddamn pumpkin. What the fuck you doing? And I'm saying this, you know, out of care. Like, this shit I ain't seen no shit like this. So February hit, you know, and, you know, even in past week, Djehuty, I ain't gonna fail you, Djehuty. I'm not gonna sabotage you. I ain't gonna do this and that. And she kept saying it so much, I was like, oh shit, this is the message. This motherfucking girl is gonna subconsciously sabotage this shit. And I saw that shit in effect, man. It just clicked. It just clicked. I said, okay. So by this time, I'm like, okay, Lakita, I gotta make sure I got some other people to make this shit happen, you know. So I had hooked up with Lakita McCauley in Chicago, and I said, won't you come do this thing here in Atlanta? Because I'm like, I'm seeing some shit here, you know. And I didn't know it was going to be that soon. And I had a lot of people in my ear. I had so many people in my ear. Look out for her. Djehuty, she going to drop the ball. You know, she wigged out with Natural Djehuty and Lex Luger, you know, Tariq Nasheed and Djehuty. And I'm like, yeah, people, I heard all that shit. You know, I understand. I got to do some shit for myself. Okay, I ain't tripping, you know, because one monkey don't stop no motherfucking show. I ain't tripping. But thank y'all for your concern. And I still got the emails or the text from YouTube. Everybody, Djehuty, she's dark, she's demonic, and brother, look out. And a lot of people watching the video right now, like, we told you so. You ain't told me a motherfucking thing, man. You ain't told me nothing. See, I'm not like you. You done to play it motherfucking safe, and that's why you where you are. And I'm not putting you down. I'm just kicking some truth to you. I'm just being real. That's why you are where you are. See, I take risk. See, and I go through shit, and I get information that I can use for the people. And I grow in my shit. So from the Veronicas, from the Sharon, from the Alexyss, all these motherfuckers, I grow from this shit. I'm saying next, who the fuck next is gonna be? All right, because I ain't never shutting down fuck black women. I ain't trusting them. You'll never hear that come out my motherfucking mouth, ever. Love my sisters. I understand that a certain segment of them are fucked up. I understand that, but that, man, I ain't gonna throw them all out in the wash. My wife is black. My daughter is black. My mother was black. My grandma, I can't turn against black women because of a few. Like my friend said, she said, Djehuty, these women keep disappointing you. I'm like, what you mean? Veronica and Alexyss? I said, don't get caught up on the two. See, we like negativity, so the people who are negative and drop the ball, they blown up. But I said, y'all not blowing Rona up. Rona's a beautiful sister. I'm not hearing no shit about Rona. Rona ain't disappointed me. Rona ain't failed DHS. Shamaka's a beautiful sister. Y'all gonna see her this week. Beautiful Sri Lankan sister. She's on board. She ain't acting a fool. Danny's on board. Kelly. I'm like, no, we got plenty of beautiful black women as a part of the D Health Store family that ain't acting a fool. So y'all can't trip on all black women because of a few. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not. And there are a lot of sisters who will step up and say, listen, certain black women got issues. So you can't war and go against all black women like Alexyss and her group are going against all men. Because they pissed off. They want to get digged down by men. And they got issues. So they at war with all men. You cannot be at war with men and think you're going to be into some vagina power. Period. Because vagina go along with the penis. That shit goes together like a key and a lock. That dildo shit ain't going to get it. It ain't. That's why you don't hear no talk about no motherfucking dildo power. Dildo power. Bzzz. You don't hear that shit. Penis power. Ain't nothing like that bioelectricity, that bioenergy that comes from the penis, that comes from the vagina. We got to keep shit real. So, man, we leading up to Atlanta. That's the first city of the Vagina Power Tour. And I made a video. We went through hell with the radio station. They didn't want to hear the word vagina. You know, all type of shit was happening. And then something happened. I'm in the car talking to Alexyss one day. And I was telling her about my videographer. I'm like, man, the universe is great. It sent me a girl who's our videographer. And I'm explaining some things. And so Alexyss says, wait a minute. Is she Asian? Is she that Asian bitch that be kicking men in the nut and doing all that S&M? And I was like, no, Alexyss. Because her name, I know somebody with that name. And this bitch made some beats for me and some music shit. And that bitch just disappeared. I said, oh, okay. And it really was her. But I said, God damn. I said, certain black women just find the fucking drama, man. I mean, it's... You know, I mean, I'm a tough motherfucker, right? But this negativity and this drama amongst black females, my fucking God. It's fucking crazy. I'm going to tell you, if y'all didn't have pussies, black men period wouldn't be fucking with you. I'm just going to be honest. Got a lot of dudes, you be like, why are these dudes with these women? Because they fucking getting their dick sucked, balls licked. That's why. You remove that shit there, they wouldn't fuck with you. Just keeping it real. So I said, God damn. And it was the person, you know, she just happens to be Asian, what have you. And I'm cool with her, you know, I'm cool. I was giving her a chance to do her thing and you know, and I'm the type of motherfucker like that, right? You know, people say to her, why you be fucking around with these motherfuckers, man? You know, this person, Alexyss said this, the videographer, she's a degenerate, and this person, Alexyss is a degenerate too. Why you fuck around? Because, dumb motherfucker, your scripture clearly tells you, they who are whole do not need a physician, but they who are sick. I'm a fucking healer, man. What it look like I'm dealing around with well fucking people, man. Well people, I talk to them about maintenance. Healing, fuck around with sick people to heal them because that's who need the healing. Your man Jesus. Jesus was in the highways and the byways fucking around with the prostitutes and the thieves and the cutthroats because those motherfuckers are sick and they need the healing. Don't you people know anything? So that became a problem. I said, God, I mean, all type of shit is coming up as we get closer to the first Vagina Power event, the first city, Atlanta. And it's exciting too, you know. And, you know, Alexyss sent me fucking emails and too, they ain't got no clothes I need. And I was just looking at the email the day of this shit, you know, which D Health Store did not fucking pay. All his dresses and shit, man, and jewelry. I need jewelry, and you know, I said this, you know, at one point I was like, I said maybe she think this was Hollywood, you know, this was knowledge, you know, I don't know you, I know women like to dress up and shit, but I mean, you dropping some motherfucking, now the people don't give a fuck if you wearing motherfucking locks or beanie caps or motherfucking lobes, they don't give a shit, they just want the knowledge. And this motherfucker like, oh no, I got to have my dress and my necklace, which was costume jewelry, and I got to have my hair, my weave, and I got to have my makeup. I said, that shit was too much for me, you know. And so I was like, I said, yeah, this motherfucker gonna be short-lived because, you know, I'm a Taurus, right? We the most patient sign in the zodiac, but when we hit that motherfucking zone, that's your ass, right? When we get in that motherfucking no patience zone, it's a motherfucking wrap, you know. So I spoke to her. I said, let me just speak to her. Maybe she ain't knowing. So we gotta tone this shit down. Right, you know, look, the motherfucking funds is getting low, okay, so we gotta do this and do that, you know, you do whatever the fuck you gotta do, you know, to get through some shit, you know, so motherfucker can understand, because motherfucker got depressed, like, you know, well, you said I was gonna get some clothes, and I said, Alexyss, you get an outfit for every city you go to, you know, I don't want you in the clothes, because, you know, but when I make my videos, I wear the same clothes, I ain't got no clothes, I only got a few outfits. You know, and I understand that shit. So, you know, I said, fuck it, man. You know, we'll get you something to wear to look nice. It's all good. I'm going to get me some suits and shit. But when the time comes, she went and got that shit early and submitted motherfucking bills. Them motherfucking bills are still on motherfucking email. They will not be fucking paid. Because that was not part of no motherfucking contract. That was part of being motherfucking nice. But certain motherfuckers you can't be nice to. Now you can be nice, but when you see a motherfucker ain't got no appreciation and motherfucker take you for granted, that G better come out your ass. Or they be holding your ass by your motherfucking ankles. Ice Cube made a song about me. I ain't the one. So in February, right, because the event was March 9th. Now she's really big now, right? The shit is just boom. She's scared and worried like a motherfucker because she really cares how people talk about her and her fans and shit like that. She really cares about that. So she sends me an email. Djehuty, can I have an allowance of $150 so I can go to the gym? Bishop Eddie Long got a gym down the street from me, not far from me. It's $150. I'm like, what the fuck does she think this is? I mean, she must really think this is some Hollywood shit. Now, I know we fucking balling at DHS, but we ain't no fucking fools. But if you don't mind asking me, you shouldn't mind me telling your ass or giving you a response. So I told her straight up. I said, listen, you had money to go buy food and stuff your fucking face, but you ain't got money to go to the motherfucking gym. You want us to pay for that shit? You ain't got $150? Now you got the money, but you don't want to pay. You have this sense of entitlement because she has this regal royal fucking air about herself, like she's fucking entitled. Now I don't know who the fuck gave her that, but you can't come to me with that shit because I'm a West Coast motherfucking G. I'll let your motherfucking ass know about your motherfucking self. There ain't no motherfucking entitlements here. Now you got motherfucking money to buy food and fuck yourself up, then you got money to get yourself unfucked up. And that's what I told her ass. Okay, I understand. I ain't mad to it. I know you gotta do your thing. Because we were still having phone conversation, you know, and it's, you know, I just have to keep that shit real. And I don't know if she ever went to the gym. She never told me. You know, like I said, we still had conversations up to Mother's Day of this year. Then March hits. March 1st, March 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. She calling me now. Djehuty, how we going to set it up? What we going to say? You going to go first? I go first? And then she told me about something came up with these cards. Archangel Michael started visiting her. And Aset, Sister Aset, the goddess Aset, was on the scene with him. She said, Michael got a consort, Djehuty, and people ain't going to understand that. I said, fuck what people think. Alexyss, go public with that shit. And she was describing him. I was on the phone going to Veggie Grill again on Sunset in Hollywood. And she was describing Michael. And that sex shit came up again. And he naked, Djehuty. And he got this wire wrapped around his dick. And I said, shit. I said, okay. I mean, it's some new shit. And I wasn't trying to, you know what's some new shit for me. And, you know, I'm hearing about the Archangel Michael and coil wrapped around his dick and all this shit here. But I know she into that sex shit, right? You know. And it's not, it's mundane, but she do know how to take it into that spiritual field, that spiritual side. She can go deep in that shit, you know. She go through the mundane to get to the spiritual. So you got to listen to all the dick and pussy and all that stuff there. But it's some deep shit, man. I mean, I got to give her that. I'll never take that away from her. But then she said, the angels, he got a consort, which is Aset. And then she said, she was describing how Aset looked. And she said, Djehuty, Aset, I see her. And she was describing her. And she said, Djehuty, she got a caduceus in her pussy. I was like, what the fuck? She said, Djehuty, I'm telling you, the caduceus in her pussy. And I'm just listening, right? And this was before the tour. And you know, because she's asking me, Djehuty, you know, how do I put this up on the screen to share with the audience? And I'm like, I don't know about that stuff. We'll get the screen and get somebody to do that. And she's like, I don't know how to work it. And I said, well, shit, I don't either, you know. So She's like, maybe I can get somebody to put it on one of them old fashioned ones, what have you. I can do it. I don't give a shit, you know. Share with the crowd, you know. Maybe somebody gets something from it. I never knocked her down. I never dissed anything. I ain't gonna lie, some shit that I thought was a little, you know, kind of there, but you know, I ain't knowing everything myself, you know, and she is an oracle. I truly believe that. So March 9th comes. I haven't seen Alexyss since December. Now, Alexyss looked very good. She was very, very, very petite. She looked very fucking good. I gotta give her fucking credit. We get to Atlanta, the videographer, my wife, myself, Lakita, her husband gets there. You know, everybody's coming into town, you know. People at the hotel like, oh man, D Health Store, I just heard y'all commercial. Everybody's excited, you know. I mean, the energy was high, man, you know. Um, when we got to the airport, it got a little funky because I had to tell my videographer, like, listen, I had to, you know, I just had to just come straight, like, listen, she don't like you, all right? And so when I revealed the truth to the videographer, she lost it, and that bitch, and just, I was like, fuck. Come on, don't do this. Chill. Keep your eyes on the prize, man. We doing vagina power. Look, people, we're gonna blow up. It's gonna be great. You know.